Do you ever get a call that shatters everything you thought you knew? A moment so out of place that the rest of your life begins to orbit around it? For Elliot Row, that moment came on an ordinary Tuesday night. He was at home making dinner. The scent of garlic filled the air. The soft hum of jazz played in the background. That's when the phone rang. He didn't recognize the number, but something in his gut made him pick up. "Mr. Rowe," the voice on the other end said, calm and measured. "This is Nathaniel Clark, your family's legal representative. I need you to come to my office tomorrow. You've inherited something." "Inherited?" Elliot asked, confused. "From whom? I'll explain everything in person. It's unusual." The line went dead. Elliot stood there for a while staring at the wall. Both his parents were still alive. He had no rich relatives, at least not that he knew of. The whole thing felt like a scam, or a mistake. But the next morning, curiosity won. He arrived at the notary's office on the quiet side of town. The building was old, ivy crawling up the brickwork. Inside, it was empty except for Nathaniel, the notary himself. "Mr. Row," the man greeted with a firm handshake. "I appreciate you coming. I know this is unexpected." Elliot sat down, unsure of what to expect. Nathaniel reached into a drawer and pulled out three things: an antique key, a folded map, and a sealed envelope. "Your uncle, Walter Jonas, passed away earlier this month. He left you his home." Elliot blinked. "Uncle? I don't have an uncle named Walter." "You do," Nathaniel said, "or rather did. He was your father's older brother, estranged from the family long before you were born." He slid the map forward. "This is Lake Conemaugh, Central Connecticut. That's where the house is located." Elliot stared at the map. He had never heard of the lake, never seen the name. Yet there it was, inked in looping handwriting. A red X marked a dot in the middle of the water. "In the lake?" Elliot asked. Nathaniel nodded. "The house floats. It's the only structure on the lake. Your uncle built it himself." Elliot leaned back. "You're serious?" "I wouldn't have called you on a weekend if this were ordinary." The notary wouldn't answer any more questions. The letter, he said, explained everything Walter wanted him to know. By the time Elliot left the office, the key felt heavy in his pocket, like it carried weight beyond its metal form. Later that day, he packed a bag, filled the car with gas, and set off. 40 minutes later, he stood at the edge of Lake Conemaugh. The water was still, too still. And there it was, the house, floating, majestic, eerie, 3 stories high, built with dark wood and iron braces. It looked like it belonged in another century. He asked a group of old men sipping coffee on a nearby terrace, "Do you know who owns that place?" They looked at each other, silent. "You don't want to go there," one finally said. "That house, it's wrong. Should have sunk years ago," another muttered. "But it won't. Just sits there, watching." "We don't talk about it," the first man added. "No one goes near. No one comes out. Not since Jonas died. Not before either, really." Elliot thanked them and walked away, more confused than ever. Eventually he found a sign, "June's Boats." Inside the boathouse was a woman in her 60s, sharpening a knife. "You want to get out to that house?" she asked after hearing his story. "No one goes there." "I just need a ride," Elliot said. "Just drop me off. I'll stay the night, that's all." June hesitated, then sighed. "Fine, but I won't wait around. I'll come back in the morning. If you're not on the dock, I leave. Understood?" He nodded. The boat ride was silent. Mist drifted over the lake. The water slapped softly against the wooden hull. As they neared the house, Elliot felt his skin prickle. The mansion loomed taller than it looked from shore. The air grew colder. June timed the docking perfectly. "This is it," she said. "Be careful." Elliot stepped onto the narrow dock. The wood creaked beneath his feet. When he turned to thank her, June was already reversing the boat, disappearing into the fog. He was alone. He took a deep breath and approached the front door. The key fit. The lock clicked. The door swung inward with a low groan. Inside, dust swirled in the light from tall windows. The air was stale, but the house didn't feel abandoned. Just paused. Portraits lined the hallway. One painting made him stop. A man standing beside the lake, the floating mansion behind him. Room after room revealed more mysteries. a library stacked with scientific journals, charts of weather patterns and celestial movements, strange symbols in the margins, a study with a telescope aimed at the horizon, a desk cluttered with maps, journals, and a letter addressed to Elliot Row, upon my death. He didn't open it. Not yet. Upstairs, he found a bedroom filled with clocks, dozens of them, all frozen at different times. On the dresser sat a locket. Inside, a baby's photo. On the back, the name Row, his last name. He whispered, "Was he watching me?" A note stuck to the mirror read, "Time reveals what blood forgets." In the attic, he found boxes of letters, newspaper clippings, and one headline circled in red. Middletown boy disappears, returns days later. No memory. The year, 1997. Elliot froze. That was the year he got lost in the woods as a child. He stumbled back downstairs, sat at the long dining table. Only one chair showed signs of use. At its place sat a photo of him, from a school trip. "This is insane," he whispered. "He's been watching me my whole life." That night, he found a guest room with clean sheets, fresh, as if someone had just changed them. Sleep came slowly. Around midnight, he awoke with a start, a metallic clank, then a slow creak, a door opening. The air had turned colder. No signal on his phone. He grabbed his flashlight and followed the noise. Through the study, past the portrait. Behind a tapestry he hadn't noticed before, he found a hidden door. It led downward, a spiral staircase carved into the structure. The deeper he went, the thicker the air became. The salty smell of the lake returned. At the bottom, a corridor, filing cabinets, drawers labeled genealogy, expeditions, correspondence. One was labeled Row. Inside, letters, unsent, addressed to Elliot's father. "I wish you'd answered," one read. "I never stopped watching, not after her." At the end of the hall, a heavy vault door. On it, "Authorized eyes only, Jonas Archive." He turned the wheel. Metal groaned. Inside, a sealed chamber, a hand scanner. Next to it, a note. For Elliot Row and him alone. He pressed his hand. The scanner beeped. A projector blinked on. A flickering image played across the wall. Walter Jonas appeared. Older, tired, eyes heavy with sadness. "Hello, Elliot," he said. "If you're seeing this, I'm gone, and there's something you deserve to know." He paused. "I am your father." The words hit like thunder. Walter continued, explained everything. He and Elliot's mother had been scientists, building the floating house as a refuge against catastrophe, but she died giving birth, and Walter broke. He asked his brother, Elliot's current father, to raise the child. "I watched from afar," Walter said. "Not because I didn't care, but because I didn't trust myself." He showed footage, baby Elliot, birthday videos, his first job interview. "I never stopped loving you," he said, voice cracking. "But I was the ghost, the monster on the lake." He looked straight at the camera. "This place is yours now, not as a burden, as a legacy." Then the screen faded. Elliot sat in silence, breath shaky, eyes wet. He didn't sleep that night. When June returned in the morning, she saw him waiting at the dock, suitcase in hand. "You all right?" she asked. "I think I am now," he said softly. Back home, Elliot told his parents everything, his real parents. They listened in silence, then hugged him. "I know it couldn't have been easy," he said. "Thank you for raising me." That night, as he lay in his bed, ceiling unchanged, Elliot felt different, anchored, whole. He finally understood where he came from, and it made all the difference. Weeks later, he returned to the floating house. Not to live, but to restore it. He opened it as a learning center, dedicated to environmental science and family legacies. Locals who once feared the house now brought their children to explore. The ghost of Walter Jonas faded, replaced by purpose and peace. The house no longer floated in isolation. It belonged to the world again, and to Elliot, forever.